Hey, what is up guys, Smarty here, back to do another video, and today I want to highlight one matchup that I feel like is one of the worst matchups in the game. Anyways, it's going to be Reaper-17 versus Traveler-59, almost slipped, almost said Scrin versus Traveler-59. That is in fact the worst matchup. This is probably the second worst matchup in the game, Reaper-17. Why is Scrin and Reaper-17 so bad versus Traveler-59? Well, it's because you don't really have something like a Hammerhead or a Venom to kill mind-controlling units. You've got just Gunwalkers on the ground, which can be captured by cultists, which are pretty oppressive. They come with 6 members, or is it 5? I think it's 5 squad members here for the cultist squad. They move fairly quickly, they're pretty tanky, and it's not really just that. You have to overspend on Gunwalkers, even if your opponent doesn't build cultists or infantry. So the trap player can just go Mechapeds and completely forego the infantry, and you've got a ton of Gunwalkers against Mechapeds or tripods, which ultimately doesn't achieve a whole lot for you. So it's just that threat of the cultists, of the infantry, that makes this matchup super difficult, and you've got no fast response units such as the Hammerhead or Venom to clean them up without losing units in the process. You've always got to trade against the mind control. Anyway, so I'm versus a Descent Rush here. Very difficult to hold as this faction. But I'm going to go for these Shardwalkers. It's very tricky here. I'm forced to overspend by building 2 Shardwalkers. He's going to be recovering behind this. He's going to go towards my Tip Spike and take it out. I've got these 3 buzzers which I recall back to base. You want to do that as a Scrin. If you detect you're against Traveler-59, if your opponent's playing random and you find out that he's also a Scrin, you really got to prepare for the worst. It could be a Descent Rush like this. Both of my Shardwalkers will get taken out here. So, yeah, he gets both of the Shardwalkers and still has enough Descents to kill my Tip Spike. So this opening is working out very well for him. He can even follow this up by going for more Descent squads if he chooses. My Spike will be taking damage. This is probably one of the worst openings to be against as Reaper-17. But I'm going to show you guys how you can play this matchup. So I believe as Reaper-17, you don't need to be super aggressive. Up until now, players have been trying to deny Traveler players from getting to tier 3. But I think that's where Reaper-17's strengths lie. They're tier 3. You've got superior economic powers compared to Traveler-59. What do I mean by that? Well, you've got the growth stimulator, which is essentially the same thing as a growth accelerator, but it gives you passive income. It's not a lot, but it does add up over time. I'll be wanting to use that advantage. Really, any advantage I can get in this matchup, I need to be using. But I believe my best strategy in this matchup is to just tech up to tier 3 after macroing significantly. I'm going to go for 10 harvesters, 4 refineries, and I'm going to spend as little as possible on units. Only if I detect I'm being pushed am I going to build Shardwalkers. They're going to be very good at countering any form of aggression that comes from Traveler-59 until Mechapede. So the Shardwalkers is going to be my frontline unit against this faction. Traveler and Scrin factions in general have weakness to gun damage. Those Shardwalkers are going to be excellent. Plus they'll scale into the late game with the blue shard upgrade. So this is a different take on this matchup. Rather than rushing to Mechapeds and attempting to stasis the enemy's tier 2 to deny cultists and that sort of thing, I'm going to actually take up to tier 3 and take on the trap player in the late game. I expect Mechapeds to be out soon. What I can use in this matchup is the Tiberium vibration scan to reveal Mechapeds. Don't ask me how that is a thing, but I'm not removing it. It's a nice tool to have in the Scrin player's arsenal. He uses the lightning spike to destroy my growth stimulator, but those have a lot of health to them. the growth accelerators and growth stimulators both got health increases in R23. And there is the first of the dreaded cultists that I feared of. My initial tip field has been depleted out of Tiberium. And I would have prioritized on getting a hexapod out, so I went for 4 refineries. I'm building shardwalkers. I'm researching the blue shard upgrade. In fact, that's the first upgrade I'm getting from my technology assembler here. I'm expecting him to push in with mechapede soon, so I'm going to go for tripods and purchase their respective upgrades. 13 shardwalkers. All I need to do now is hold until I have a hexapod out. And I'm a bit in danger here of losing my drone ship to a cultist squad on the left hand side, because cultists can take the enemy's drone ship. Even though it's a flying unit, it's really the only flying unit that cultists can capture. I'm going to split off a couple of those shardwalkers just to be safe, just in case I do lose it there. Mechapedes are out, I anticipated that. And I'm going to buy my time, get this hexapod out. I've got blue shards. One thing the hexapod benefits from in R23 compared to vanilla while playing Reaper-17 is the blue shard upgrade. If you put Ravagers in the hexapod, you're going to be enjoying that upgrade on the hex too. The Ravager segments in the hexapod will shoot that blue shard, and it's going to be insanely good against Scrin. It's going to snipe that Prodigy if it attempts to teleport in a tripod to close range EMP this hex. It's going to be my frontline tank. I need it to be, because it's the one thing he can't just mind control. I'm splitting off shardwalkers everywhere. I'm periodically using my Tiberium vibration scan just to reveal where his mechapedes are on the map. I've got a tripod in the top ready to counter him, plus a couple of shardwalkers. I want to have shardwalkers all over the place. And you can see where this is going. I'm turtling up, and I'm just going to build up my Reaper-17 army. I think Traveler will struggle to stop a full Reaper-17 army. Once that Prodigy is dead, once the cultists are taken care of, what's he going to do against my shielded tripods and shardwalkers? I essentially have better units than him. Aircraft aren't of much use in this matchup because of blue shards. Plus Scrin have insanely good AA anyway, since the shard launchers just one-shot the Storm Riders basically. I'm going to put another growth stimulator on that Tiberium field. I'm going to have a total of 3. I'm going to generate $75 every 5 seconds. So you do the math there. How much would I be generating in a minute? So that's 60 seconds divided by 5. That's 30. 30 times... I'm not particularly good at math in real time, I will say. Probably best not to say it on video. But yeah, it is $15 every 5 seconds for one of those. I'm moving forward here with these tripods. And what you should do as this faction is just move the shardwalkers forward. They have pretty good arc radius when attacking and moving. They will be able to shoot and move and target units in front of them. One thing I recommend in this matchup is reserving the phase field to essentially prevent your units from being mind controlled, because they can't be mind controlled whilst phased. That was the reason I used it there on that tripod. Hexapod distracted him in the bottom, took out his Prodigy. One blue shard walker disposed of it. Doesn't take long for a blue shards to kill prodigies. He's got nothing in his hexapod. If I were him, I'd put maybe triple engineer inside of it. He'll be spamming tripods at this point. He could instead go for cultist, but I don't know how successful he'll be with that, because I can just go for shardwalkers once again. And then what's he going to do? Take them over with cultists. It's not going to end too well for him. Blue shards, one-shots cultists. So getting that blue shard upgrade is pivotal as this faction. And as an insurance policy, I'm going to throw down my rift generator. If you are going for a super weapon against Traveler-59, you really want to be careful where you place it, since it will give vision radius to the trap player of that structure, and he can exploit that and use wormhole. So you don't want to have that near your technology assembler or tier 3, because then the trap player will just use the wormhole to prodigy capture that tier 3 of yours. I'm anticipating a wormhole, since he's got a Storm Rider. One single Storm Rider can only mean one thing. And I watched this game back before, and I learned something from this game that I didn't know of, and you're going to see it soon. He's going to attempt to capture my tier 3, and you're going to see something that I don't think many people know of. I've got a buzzer hive protecting that structure in case the prodigy goes through the wormhole, but what he does is he uses the lightning spike to get the buzzer hive to attack the structure instead of the prodigy. And that worked. I thought it would reacquire targets, but no, the buzzer hive, unless microed, will just continually attack that lightning spike. That's something I did not know of. So nice trick there from Bart. And like I said before, I'm moving in with the gun war because I'm not stopping. I need to catch up to those cultists and move in. And now I've got the mind control units away from his tripods, and those are inferior tripods to mine. They don't have the shields. What I could do here is charge up my tripods. I've got the reconstruction drones down on my hexapod, probably best used on the tripod. So there's a lot of inefficiencies here and there. I could definitely execute that a lot better. I didn't even need to use my stasis shield in the end. But Reaper-17 as a frontline force, even against Traveler-59, I think are crazy good. You saw there, the cultists are good, but when you're up against a huge army of shardwalkers, they're not going to be able to kill and capture all of the shardwalkers before they themselves are taken out. And then they have to contend with the tripods after, with conversion reserves and shields, and the hexapod as well. It's just a better unit. It has more DPS. The Trav player has really nothing to beat that hexapod cost effectively unless they EMP it. So all that combined, I believe that Reaper-17 is better than Skrin is in that matchup. The shards on the shardwalkers and that blue shard hexapod make all the difference. Plus you got the Tiberium charged shots on the tripod, which I didn't really use there, but you can even do that as well if you wish. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed that game. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button. I really appreciate that. And before I go, I'd like to thank all my patrons for supporting me and my channel and for keeping this going. Anyways, this is it from me, Master Leaf. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.